name is Lance Beaudry. I am CEO and co-founder of TextSpot.
My name is Karlo Zadro. I am CTO and co-founder of TextSpot.
Our company, TextSpot, is a mass text messaging software and communications for small to medium-sized businesses. We kind of pride ourselves in our product being as easy as texting your mom, but with features that will result in your boss being really happy. We have a lot of different customers across dozens of different industries. We've had Chick-fil-A franchises use us, a lot of universities you might recognize, like Princeton University, University of Kentucky, small to medium-sized businesses or organizations across the board using for a lot of text reminders or mass text messaging to employees, to customers, that sort of thing.
So one of the primary driving factors in us looking towards 10DLC was really deliverability concern. Yeah, we were sending a lot of unregistered traffic with Twilio. And that's really when we started to see we were getting dinged for it and started to see a lot of deliverability concerns. And then additionally, with Twilio, we didn't have great insight into when a message went undelivered. We didn't know why it went undelivered, and the support wasn't great if we needed detailed information about why only 20% of an SMS blast got delivered. Twilio support wasn't great about getting us those answers, and when we did get answers, they were not super timely, and B, they weren't really detailed enough for us to know how to prevent those issues from happening again in the future.
When we were with Twilio, we were submitting campaigns, and 7 to 8 weeks later, we were getting approvals, if we got approvals, but mostly rejections with little to no insight as to why we were getting rejections. And one of the biggest frustrations was we didn't have a point of contact, like a champion of our success at Twilio.
We're an SMS platform that small to medium-sized businesses use. They were just saying, hey, I sent a message. It was supposed to get delivered at 10 a.m. Only 5 of my 100 messages got delivered. What was going on? And it really led to a lot of frustrations early in the 10DLC process because we didn't have the information to help them get their problem solved or to help them understand what was going on. So it really came back on us, and we ended up with a lot of upset customers.
When we were with Twilio, we weren't even aware of the campaign registry and the fact that we should more ideally go through them and submit campaigns through them, because on Twilio, we didn't have to do that, which gave us less control, less visibility, made the entire process way more opaque. One of the biggest hesitations that we originally had in moving from Twilio to Telgorithm was purely just based on size and brand. Like Twilio is very recognizable. They are massive, but size doesn't really matter in this case. It's level of support and transparency, and we were not getting it at all with Twilio, even under a contract, even paying a lot of money to Twilio. We're like, how could they possibly be better than such a large, well-known company in Twilio? And they were, and they met what we needed more than Twilio did.
So the first concern we had is how difficult is it going to be to update our systems within our app to actually use the Telgorithm APIs instead of the Twilio APIs. We came to find out that wasn't really much of a concern for us. The transition process, not only does Telgorithm have documentation on how to transition from Twilio to Telgorithm, which was super helpful, the Telgorithm APIs are just really well documented, really easy to use, built on the open API spec so that we could just generate a library based off of the documentation that exists online and super easily switch over to using the Telgorithm APIs. A second concern that we had for switching away from Twilio into Telgorithm was how we were going to actually port our numbers. We had hundreds of phone numbers that were active with Twilio. The Telgorithm support team was really, really helpful and instrumental in helping us understand what the port process was like to ensure that we didn't have any downtime. The Telgorithm onboarding process was honestly fantastic. One of the great things about the onboarding process with Telgorithm was that we were assigned an account rep who walked us through the API differences. He was there to help us from a technical perspective understand what we needed to implement. But then he was also there to help us from just the business perspective of learning more about 10DLC, and helping us understand just the entire SMS ecosystem as a whole.
I'd say one of the biggest business benefits to working with Telgorithm is just a deeper understanding of how this entire ecosystem works. Like we have real relationships with people at Telgorithm who we really feel like they're a part of our team. They're fighting for us. We all want the same thing. We want good messages to get delivered to recipients. And that's huge.
This is actually a good story that happened to us not even, I think it was about a month ago at this point. We got a really big customer that came to us, and they came to us on, was it a Thursday or a Friday? And they were like, hey, we have this huge conference that we need to send tens of thousands of messages for, but the conference starts on Sunday. Can you help us? And it was, I think, 1 p.m. on Friday when they came to us, and we reached out to the Telgorithm team, and we were like, hey guys, we have this great opportunity that could really help us as a company. And within 15 minutes, Aaron and Chris from the support team had reached out directly to the DCA, and we had submitted our campaign. 15 minutes later, that campaign was approved, and that customer went on to send, I think it was 70, 80,000 messages over the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So within less than an hour, the Telgorithm team had managed to get a campaign approved for a really large customer of ours. Yeah, I think the best way I would describe Telgorithm is that they're your partner in SMS. They help you be able to focus on what your business actually does, and not on all of the intricacies of SMS and the details of 10DLC and the approval timelines. They handle all of that for you, and they let you really spend your time doing what you do best. One of the main things that we like about Telgorithm is that they are very, very straightforward. I've never had to worry that I wasn't getting the full picture when we talked to anybody at Telgorithm. One of the biggest issues that we had prior to moving to Telgorithm was that we had people promise us the moon and the stars, right? We'll get A2P campaigns approved in 2 hours, and we can do X, and we can do Y, and we can do all of this other stuff. And we just found it to never really be true. We have people to this day pitching us on, hey, you should move over to our platform. We can get A2P campaigns approved in 4 hours. And we just know from experience that that's absolutely not true. And that's been really, really helpful to us, that we don't have to fact check the people who give us SMS information. And it felt like we had to do that at the time with Twilio.